In KartRider, there's a problem with drifting. Drifting slows you down, but we need to drift to build Nitro. Therefore, we need to drift in a way to minimize this slowdown. The solution to this problem is the optimized drift. What is the optimized drift? A full drift started at the most shallow kart angle. The most important part of a drift is the drift entry. The optimized drift is used to maximize drift entry speed on wide turns. The optimized drift is an intermediate technique and is an important step to understanding high-level play. I highly recommend having some experience playing the game first. You should understand the basic drift structure in KartRider. You should also be able to perform techniques like the short full drift, cut drifting, and cut charge, and have some understanding of tension and the full drift angle. I'll link videos I made on these topics in the description. With the optimized drift, we are setting up tension in a way to push the full drift angle to be very small. A general KartRider rule is the longer you have to hold the drift button to drift, the slower your drifts will be. Therefore, with the optimized drift, we use tension so we can tap the drift button as light as possible. In this video, I'll specifically go over how to optimize drift by pre-turning. In future videos, I'll go over setting up optimized drift with other methods, like short drift and cut drift. To optimize drift with pre-turn, we need to maximize the tension we get when pre-turning. Then, tap the drift button as light as you can. Release the drift button and direction at the same time. Since the drift starts at such a shallow angle, the drift ends relatively quickly even without countersteering. This is because you start drifting closer to the angle where the drift ends, and in general, higher speeds end drifts faster. If you pre-turn too long, you actually start to lose speed. The maximum time you should pre-turn is before this deceleration starts. Practice this pre-turn timing. Remember to build up speed first. If you play the game at 60 frames per second, your tap should only be around 2 to 3 frames long. The drift button should be used to nudge the kart a tiny bit to reach the full drift angle. There's a couple ways to check if you're doing it correctly. The skid marks should be wide apart and not overlap. There should be very little speed loss. Here, I consistently only lose about 10 or less speed per drift. The kart angle should barely turn when you start drifting. The drift ends quickly, and you should be able to instant boost after. When adding Countersteer, we can do full drifts that end even quicker. Your main mistake should be doing short drifts by accident. This is because you want to push the full drift angle to its limit. Fix this by ensuring your pre-turn is as long as possible. To keep this video from being too long, I specifically went over how to optimize drift using Preturn without Nitro. In the next video, I'll go over the timing of how to do it with Nitro because the timing is a little different. This is because turning takes longer at higher speeds. In other words, tension takes longer to build while using Nitro. And the consequence of that is we have to press the drift button slightly longer. The idea is the same, however. We want to maximize tension before a turn with a long pre-turn. That way, we can tap the drift button for as little time as possible to do a full drift. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.